Alexis Donahue claims she hired her ex-boyfriend to help her move, and he angrily broke her digital picture frame after seeing a photo of her new man. Lawrence Limpanelli says the frame was fine when he left.
Okay. Ms. Donahue, you are suing Mr. Limpanelli for $1,211.40 because, according to you, he intentionally broke your digital picture frame. Tell me what happened.
So I asked him to help me move because I know that he doesn't get a lot of money working.
How did you two know each other?
So we've been dating for about 2 years before we broke up.
How long before the move? You asked, like, you had already broken up when you asked him to help you move?
Yes.
Did you break up with him or did he break up with you?
I broke up with him.
Okay, and so what possessed you to call him?
Well, I know that he needs money, and I just wanted to assist him in any way I could with getting,
How much were you going to pay him?
About $500.
That's a lot of money. All right, so you could hire real movers for that.
Yeah, I've had issues in the past with movers, so I just wanted to help out a friend and get.
How long before that had you broken up?
About 3 months.
Was he still mopey?
No, he seemed to be fine. He moved on.
Why did you guys break up? Any particular reason or just?
He's constantly accusing me of cheating, was very controlling and jealous, so I just couldn't take his
And I'm sorry, how long did you guys date?
About 2 years.
Okay.
Your Honor, if I may add, accusations aside, we've split, and then 3 months later, she's seeing someone new, so.
I'm surprised it took 3 months. I mean, you're saying that like it's only 3 months later, like you died or something. That's, you know, you guys are young. How old are you?
I'm 22.
How old are you?
23.
Yeah. How long did you expect her to be in mourning?
I mean, she could cut me some slack at least, you know?
I mean,
were you devastated when she broke up with you?
I'd rather not answer that.
Yeah, I think you did. All right, so she calls you and she says, do you want to make some money helping me move? And didn't you find it weird?
Initially, yeah. She sent me a text randomly. It was like, hey, I found a new spot, you know. I actually have the text messages here if you would like to see.
Yeah, let me see
She just
them.
basically was like, hey, got a new spot, and I need help moving in. I was like, great,
Did you think she was coming on to you? Did you think she was missing you and maybe wanting to see you?
At the time, Your Honor, I was hoping so. However,
yeah, but it's not like, I mean, she was paying you.
Right.
It's not that romantic. Like
myself.
Huh?
That was something that I initiated. I told her I needed to get paid for.
Yeah. All right. So if you're hoping to woo her, charging her $500 is not much of a woo.
Your Honor, that was a number that she came up with.
No, I know. I know. So then I think it's pretty clear it's business then, right?
Right.
It's business.
Right.
You know it's business?
Right.
She knows it's business. That's all it is business. Except it wasn't. All right. Hey, what's up? How are you? I'm okay. That's good. So I finally got a place. Congrats. I was wondering if I could get your help moving. I can give you the tour, LOL. I'll pay you too. That would be cool. The money would help. And then you guys, what? You talk about the money and it's $500?
So when I initially met up with her to move everything, she kind of just, it was all verbal. She was like, hey, I don't have much, you know, we're moving. I can give you this much. It was $250 initially. And then I guess.
And then you, wait. And then you're standing there and you go, nah, I'm leaving. I need it. And you extort her for double while you're standing there?
I don't know what changed. Maybe she felt
whatever.
bad,
So she agrees to pay you $500. And then what happens, Ms. Donahue?
So he found out that I am dating someone else, and he got really upset about it.
How did he find out?
He was snooping through my apartment. He looked through my mail.
Oh, who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew such a thing could happen when you let your ex into your apartment to move you? That he might come across things.
Your
Yeah.
Honor,
If you know that he has a really jealous temperament, why would you put yourself and him in this position?
I just wanted to help.
Oh, stop it. Mother Teresa, you know, it's your job to make sure that, I mean, I'm not stupid. There has to be some other reason because you're not just trying to help him make money. The guy can make money without you. What's he going to do the rest of his life? You just going to feed him?
Coming up on Justice for the People.
What picture frame are we talking about? How big is this picture frame?
It's a standard
A
5
little
by
picture
8.
frame.
You know,
All right.
They're very intimate. You know,
Okay.
I assume it's not her brother. It's
Right.
her boyfriend or something.
Right.
I let it go. You know, continue to
Let it go. That's so big of you.
I mean, I let it go.
Right. Yeah, that's
as
so
I-
big of you to let your client be dating somebody.
Hey, we're adults.
I'm being sarcastic.
I know.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your for the people with Judge Milian, we're back with the case of Alexis Donahue, who blames her ex, Lawrence Limpinelli, for a broken digital picture frame.
So you invite him to come over, and I think you kind of like that it makes him jealous. I don't know.
Your Honor, if I may add, I wasn't snooping. When we started the move initially, I was moving in boxes and, you know, some glass and, you know, things. And I look over on the kitchen counter and I see a picture frame. It's her and a man. That's clearly not myself.
Okay, what picture frame are we talking about? How big is this picture frame?
It's a standard
A
5
little
by
picture
8.
frame.
You know,
All right.
they're very intimate. You know,
Okay.
I assume it's not her brother. It's you
Right.
know, her boyfriend or something.
Right.
I let it go. You know, continue
You
to
let
move
it go.
things.
That's so big of you.
I mean, I let it go.
Right. Yeah, that's
as
so
I-
big of you to let your client be dating somebody.
Hey, we're adults. She broke up with me. That's something that
I'm being sarcastic.
I know. I know.
Okay.
I know.
And Your Honor, keep in mind, we had moved on. Both of us had moved on.
Was he dating anybody?
I think he was dating someone else at the time.
Your Honor.
Well,
I
you
was not
clearly were,
dating.
but go ahead. All right,
I
so
was
what
not dating.
happens? You see that and you let it go, and then what?
So I initially asked her about it. She insisted.
What'd you say? Wait,
that- so,
what'd you say?
So I pretty much was like, hey, okay, you know, who's this guy? Like, what's going on? And she's like, oh, I'm making this apartment. It's a luxury apartment. You know, I was already skeptical, but she's like, I'm getting extra tips. She's a server, and I was like, okay, you know, new guy, like whatever, sure. Continue to move things in, and then I noticed there's mail. There's a lot of mail, and I see that something's addressed to a man. Again, not myself. So
Well,
I
no,
asked her-
because
so-
she dumped you 3 months earlier.
So I asked again, I'm just like, you know, hey, and you know, she kind of told me to stay in my place and told me, you know, all of these wild things.
Wait,
So I
what are the wild things she told you?
She told me that I was broke, I was a loser. She told me like this is pretty much
Your
the reason
Honor,
why
I
she
didn't
left
even
me.
mention any of that until he got upset and was saying, oh, you're saying every name in the book, because he saw me and my boyfriend in a
Wait,
picture.
what was he saying exactly? You could say it.
Okay, well, he was saying that I'm sleeping around, I'm a floozy, all of that stuff, and I'm
I
like,
doubt he used the word floozy.
yeah, he used some other
That's
words.
the word he used? Yeah, he used other words.
Yeah,
didn't he? All right.
I just, you know.
Okay. And tell me when first of all, tell me what this picture frame in question is. It's not the one where he saw the guy. It's something else entirely. It's a 40-something inch digital picture frame?
Yeah, so as I was explaining who the guy was, he dropped the picture frame and broke it.
Okay,
I
but
have
first of all,
picture
what
evidence.
is this thing? It's a 42-inch digital picture frame?
Yes, Your Honor. I have a 42-inch digital picture frame. I also have receipt.
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah.
I had to look it up when I was reading your complaint because I'm like, wait, that's a thing? Because a TV does that. And then you also get the TV. How much did you pay for the 42-inch digital picture frame?
I have the receipt right
How
here.
much?
It
Tell
was
me, I'm dying.
$1,211.
Okay, because you could pay like $700 or $800 and get a TV too.
Yeah.
So I'm just fascinated by who spends this kind of money on a digital picture frame. What are you nodding about? This has nothing to do with you.
It's just personally for me. I like looking at my family.
I know, but you can do that on a I guess I don't know if I'm giving you a news flash, but you know you can actually do that on a regular TV, and then you have TV.
It's just something that I've been wanting for a long
whatever.
time.
All right, so now, where was that 42-inch picture frame when, according to you, it's in his hands?
Yes, so while he's looking and, you know, snooping through my stuff, he's holding the picture frame and asking me who's this man that
And
I'm
he's getting
talking
mad.
to. Yes, and he's getting upset, yelling at me. I'm just remembering like past stuff that has gone on in arguments. So I'm like, okay, you need to calm down, and he just drops the picture frame right there in front of me.
Okay, did that happen that way?
No, Your Honor.
How did it happen?
So initially, when we had the conversation, I had nothing in my hands. I didn't notice the mail or the picture frame until after I moved the big digital frame. When we had this conversation, we were in the kitchen by the picture frame, and this is where I asked her the secondary question, kind of being uncomfortable, saying like, you know, hey, now there's mail too. What's going on here? This is when she starts to verbally attack me and tells me like, mind your business, you know, you're a loser, you're this and that, and you couldn't understand like, you know, the luxury she's living basically.
Oh, how dare she.
And you know, that's kind of where I got upset because I'm like, you know, we were together for 2 years and you're upset that I'm accusing you.
How'd the picture frame break, buddy?
I'm sorry?
How did the picture frame break?
I have no clue, Your Honor. I wasn't there. When I moved everything was still intact.
Your Honor, he's lying. He broke the picture frame. He was there when he broke it, and that's why I'm suing him today because
Your Honor,
he knows he broke it.
How can I snoop through a house while holding that huge picture frame? Like that doesn't make sense, and have the conversation with her.
Okay, but why would she lie about it when she's so nice she's hiring you to be in her house?
I mean, honestly, she's been kind of spiteful the entire time. You see, it took her 3 months to move on. She doesn't care about me. That's nothing.
If I didn't care, I wouldn't be here today doing this because you broke my picture frame.
Well, nothing. Well, she cares about the picture frame. She doesn't care about you.
Exactly.
But, you know, you have two very diametrically opposed stories. I mean, according to her, you're holding the darn thing. How long had you had this picture frame?
I've had it for
Can I see the receipt?
Yes, of course.
Coming up.
Was it boxed up or was it not boxed up?
It was not boxed up. He was just holding it.
Okay, so when it broke, there's no chance that he accidentally broke it because everybody would see that it was broken when it's broken because it's shattered this way.
Closed captioning. This is Justice for the People with Judge Milian. We're back with the case of Alexis Donahue, who blamed her ex, Lawrence Limpanelli, for a broken digital picture frame.
Thank you.
You've had it for how long?
Almost a year.
Yeah.
I actually had it when we were dating as well, so he's seen it before.
Was it boxed up or was it not boxed up?
It was not boxed up. He was just holding it.
Okay, so when it broke, there's no chance that he accidentally broke it because everybody would see that it was broken when it's broken because it's shattered this way.
And when I moved it into the house, Your Honor, it was completely fine. I put it down in the corner somewhere, just like I'm moving the rest of her stuff in.
Well,
I was doing all of the
you want me
lifting.
to buy your story, and she wants me to buy hers. So I'm checking out the merchandise, right? I'm trying to figure out which one I should buy. And remember, this isn't a criminal case where there has to be proof beyond a reasonable doubt that you did it. This is a civil case where the proof is more likely than not. And what have I got? I've got a pretty jealous guy who can't get over the fact that she's moved on 3 months later, which is kind of setting the bar low on the anger threshold. I've got you looking at mail, which you really shouldn't be looking at. I've got you looking at the pictures, and then I've got you confronting her about it. So I know you're angry. And she tells me that you dropped it like on purpose while you were yelling at her. And why is that so hard to believe when I know all the other things to be true?
Coming up.
When we stopped speaking, that was on my accord. She broke up with me, and I said respectfully, you know, do your thing. I don't have any animosity toward her until now. As I'm moving in, there was everything everywhere.
Now you have animosity against her because she was doing her thing like you told her to?
Closed captions. Justice for the People with Judge Milian. We're back with the case of Alexis Donahue, who blamed her ex, Lawrence Limpanelli, for a broken digital picture frame.
Your Honor, I was not upset. Actually, when we stopped speaking, that was on my accord. She broke up with me, and I said respectfully, you know, do your thing. I don't have any animosity toward her until now. But as I'm moving in, there was everything everywhere.
Now you have animosity against her because she was doing her thing like you told her to?
Because now she's lying, like lying on me. Now she's bringing me to court for something that, none of this, like, no.
See, that's the other part I have to think through. Would a person who calls you to move her and you charge her and she says, sure, I'll pay you, would she go through all the effort of going to court to sue you if you hadn't in fact broken it, what would be her motivation to make up this big lie that she's making up?
If I was the spiteful and jealous ex that she's depicting me to be, why would she reach out to me to help her move?
I have my theory on that. My theory is she likes the attention. That's my theory. Okay? Because there's no other reason to call you. Because if I've dated you 2 years and I know exactly how you are, I do not want you to be around while I move into some other guy's house. I do not want that. It's a bad idea. So I have my theory. But having my theory is separate from having to decide the case, you see? So when I'm trying to decide the case, if in fact what would be her motivation for framing you with the demise of the picture frame? Because you're saying she's completely lying about the whole thing. So what would be her motivation to do that when she likes you enough to call you, ask her, and agree to pay you $500?
Judge Milian's verdict when justice for the people returns. With Judge Milian.
What would be her motivation to do that?
Your Honor, I honestly couldn't tell you. I kind of taken her out of my life once we split. Like I said, I let her do her thing. I kind of, not out of animosity, but wanted nothing to do with her. You live your life, I live mine.
Except for that's not your attitude. That should be your attitude. And when she calls you to move her, you should say, now hire some movers.
Well,
but instead of that, you go
person.
when you obviously still have feelings for her. And then you're like, what's the meaning of this? Like someone has to explain to you what the meaning of it is. I am finding in favor of the plaintiff in this case. You do not get to come to court and then sue for the replacement value of an item. You get to sue for the cost of the value of the item at the time of the bad. When he breaks it, it is a 1-year-old used 42-inch digital picture frame. In other words, your measure of damages isn't you get a brand new one. Your measure of damages is what would this cost in the open market, which I've got to guess at. And I would imagine that the depreciation would at least get as low as $750, and I am ordering him to pay you $750. Verdict for the plaintiff.
All rise.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $750. Scarlett Cooper claims both she and her baby were traumatized when a swim teacher held the child underwater. Eleanor Lewis says Ms. Cooper caused a scene, but insists her teaching methods are safe.
All right, Ms. Cooper, you're suing Ms. Lewis because you want a refund of your payment for some swim classes. Yes. Tell me, how old is your baby?
Well, now he's 1.5, but he was 6 months old. 6 months old?
Yes. Okay. Did you do any research before you...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. So I had a very negative experience with water when I was younger. It was very traumatizing. And so when I first had Sterling, I knew immediately that I wanted to put him in swim lessons early so that he wouldn't have the same kind of experience that I did. And so very immediately after having him, I started doing research, and I found out that you can start putting your kid into swim lessons starting at like 6 months old. And so I found Eleanor's classes, and
how did you find her classes?
Online.
Okay.
Yes. So I found she has great reviews. She boasts this amazing percentage rate of success. And so I gave her a call because, again, I feel like I have a special case because of my experience with water. And I kind of talked to her. I walked her through what I was worried about in terms of how I felt. I didn't want Sterling to have the same experience that I did, and I was concerned that certain teaching methods would give him some sort of experience like that. So I talked to her about it.
How do you think they teach a 6-month-old to swim? How did you think they would teach a 6-month-old to swim?
I was just
I mean, it's going to be
hoping for,
pretty instinctive, right? Because it's got to be, because the 6-month-old doesn't speak, right?
I know that's one method, yes, of course. And
what's another method besides instinct? I mean,
well, I was hoping for something that was a little bit more more based on like comfort and maybe a little bit more like safety rather than instinctively like.
All right, so how much were the classes?
The classes were $480.
Okay, and that was for 12 classes?
Yes.
All right, so you take your baby, Sterling, to the class. Did you know any of the other mothers who were in the class?
No.
All right, and tell me about the experience the first day.
The first day was very simple. It was just simply Eleanor was in the water. She had some assistants and some volunteers, and she had the babies in the water. And
how many babies, by the way?
There were 5.
Okay.
Yes. And the 5 babies were in the water, and she was playing music and just doing some games and kind of floating them around, just kind of getting them comfortable with the water. And that was the first couple of classes.
Okay, so you were fine with that.
Yes, I was fine.
Okay, when did something happen that made you feel uncomfortable?
The second week, so the 4th class.
Okay.
She was she had reached the point where they were comfortable in the water, and so she was kind of moving onward in the training, and with very little warning, I just see my baby being blown in the face and then dunked underwater for multiple seconds, just holding him. So I obviously, because of my anxiety around water, I freaked out and I ran to the side of the pool. I just wanted to make sure that Sterling was okay, because seeing my baby completely submerged was not something that I was expecting, and it wasn't something.
Hold on.
It was not something I was expecting.
How much research did you do?
I did enough. I did research, and I talked to Eleanor about it.
Okay,
and
but you didn't know that the baby would be dunked?
I did not expect it to be as abrupt. It was very fast, and
You
it was
mean
long.
abrupt for you or abrupt for the baby?
It was abrupt. It was abrupt for the baby.
For you or
for the baby?
Well, no, see, it's always going to be abrupt for the baby, right? Like the baby doesn't, it's like, all right, baby, we're going to dunk you now. The baby doesn't understand, so it's going to be abrupt. It might have been too abrupt for you, but...
It was abrupt for both of us, and I was not prepared for that.
So what happened? What'd you do?
I freaked out. I ran to the side of the pool. I was screaming, and
You were
Eleanor
screaming? What
told
were you
me-
screaming?
I was just screaming Sterling's name. I wanted to
Okay,
make sure
how
he
long
was
was
okay.
Sterling underwater?
A couple of seconds.
Okay, how long was Sterling underwater, Ms. Lewis?
I would say 4 seconds max.
Okay, and what was her reaction?
One like I've never seen from a parent before. She went hysterical. She went so hysterical that the other parents got hysterical because they probably thought her baby was drowning or something.
And-
Most of the parents come, they relax a little bit because they trust me. And then she starts freaking out, and the babies that are in the water start crying. It was a mess.
So what did you do?
I asked her to just please calm down because she was making everybody nervous.
Okay, did you make her leave or did you ask
No,
her
I
to
didn't
leave?
make her leave.
Did she leave though?
She did leave, yes.
Okay, so you left, why did you leave?
I didn't leave the 4th class. I left the 5th class. So the 4th class was the first time that she dunked Sterling, and I freaked
Okay.
out. And she asked me to be quiet and go back to where I was sitting, where she had all the parents observing, and I complied. I did.
Okay.
I went back, I sat there, and then Wednesday, I came in. I went up to Eleanor and I explained that I was uncomfortable with this method that she was using.
What method did you want her to use?
I wanted
You
her to
don't have the
feel-
answer because you're not a swim instructor.
Coming up on Justice for the People.
She didn't steal your child and put your child in a pool. You knew the child was going in a pool, so why would she be responsible for that?
Because she was dunking him underwater.
Oh, my darling Miss Cooper. God bless you.
And later,
He had invited me to his graduation, and of course I was going to say yes because I was so excited for him, and I was his girlfriend. I was so in love with him. I wanted to be there for him, and then the day after his graduation, he broke up with me.
if you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to... We're back with the case of Scarlett Cooper, who blames Eleanor Lewis for dunking her baby during a swim class.
Honestly, the most minimum amount of research, you would have realized that this is exactly what's done. This is not an uncommon... You didn't invent this, did you?
No.
No. This is exactly how you teach an infant to swim, because you can't explain, I'm going to dunk you now, to the infant. So you go... Because their instinct when you blow on the face is to do what?
Is to hold their breath, yes.
And then you want the baby to feel what holding the breath for 2 or 3 seconds or however long. What's typically when the baby goes down the first time, how many seconds?
I'm going to say it's not more than 3. You literally just dunk them so that they're submerged.
And then
bring
lift them
back
up. So tell me what happens in the 5th class. You tell her, I don't like your teaching method. I'd rather you, well, I don't have no answer. I don't know what to say. I just don't like what you're saying. You know, that's kind of, you know.
I explained my concerns, yes.
Okay.
And
the concern, though, that you should have is that you are freaking your kid out. That's the concern, because you're so freaked out about the water that you're actually instilling that in your kid. You had all the right moves at the beginning, like picking a swim instructor and trying to teach your child to swim at 6 months. All that is wonderful, just in case anything ever happens. So that was all good, but then you're not letting her do what she needs to do. And honestly, if you Google this at all, you know, you'll see that this is what's done. So then tell me what happens in the 5th one. You tell her you don't want her to do that. What does she tell you?
she didn't tell me anything. We had a brief conversation where I explained it. She kind of said, okay. And then she went back to the class and she started doing the same thing with Sterling. And I got anxious again. I got anxiety again. I went to the side of the pool, and she asked me and Sterling to leave this time because the parents were getting freaked out and the babies were getting freaked out. And
Well, did any of the other parents say anything to you?
they didn't say anything, but they were looking at me. They gave me dirty looks.
Like they gave you the evil eye?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now you've come to court and you're suing not just for the amount that you paid for swim lessons, of which your child took 4.5 or 5, 4.5, and you're also suing for $50 for an ear, because your child got an ear infection. Tell me about that.
Yes. So after the 5th class, I was driving home, and Sterling was super upset. He was crying and screaming, and he was like that the entire night. He kept me and my husband up all night. And so I went to the doctor the next day and found out he had an ear infection. And I have no reason, there's no other thing that would have given him an ear infection. So I know
Really?
it came from her.
Are you a first-time mother?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a million things that could give you an ear infection. It probably was the pool, but maybe the pool, you know, like, you know, I mean, that's she didn't steal your child and put your child in a pool. You knew the child was going in a pool, so why would she be responsible for that?
Because she was dunking him underwater.
Oh, my darling Miss Cooper. God bless you. I think that maybe you're not ready for your child to be dunked. So maybe waiting like till 1.5 years might be a good idea for you, or a year or something.
My son does swim now.
Okay. And
I
your
have a
son is
video
how old?
that
How
I
old's your
did.
son now?
1.5.
Okay. And how did your son learn how to swim?
I found a different instructor, and she had a much calmer method.
Okay. What was her calm method? What'd she do?
She floated them along.
And, oh, yeah, I know. Floating them along
When
is
he
the first
was-
few days. What did she do? Because if your child falls in a pool, floating them along is not going to be their instinct. So what did she do after floating them
Well,
along?
I did wait a little bit. The experience with Eleanor was a little bit.
So she dunked your child just like Eleanor did, right?
She did it in a different method, though, and she was very...
How is it different? What did she do? Just
She
show
was-
me what she
she was
did.
much more
First, show
involved.
me what Eleanor did with your hands. Like, pretend. Okay, now show me what the other lady did.
It's going to look the same.
It is.
But I was in...
It
I
is,
was,
darling. It's going to look exactly the same. You know what the difference is going to be, Ms. Cooper? You. The dunking was exactly the same. She didn't do anything wrong. You ended up offering her some money back for the other classes. You should have taken what was behind the door number 1, honey, because I need to see your contract. It depends on what the contract says. Is there a contract here I can look at?
No, I do not have a contract at the parents' side, no.
All right. So you offered to pay her back how much?
$280.
Okay. And that was the unused portion?
Yes.
Because it was how many classes? It was
12.
Right.
She
Got
attended
it.
5.
Can I just say, though, as a businesswoman, to protect yourself, because you count on these tuitions to run your business. Yeah. Most people in your position have a contract that will actually say there are no refunds. And then they can only get a refund if there's something you did wrong. You do not have that in your contract, so I am going to order you to return the unused portion to her, because you're the one who asked her to leave. But you would have had real good reason to ask her to leave when she's yelling at you and agitating everyone else. If you spell that out in the contract, if you say parents cannot scream, parents cannot blah, 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 if you do, you'll be terminated and there are no refunds. If you spell out your expectations, people know how to react. But in any event, I am going to order you to return $280, verdict for the plaintiff. Good luck, everybody.
All rise.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $280.
I have absolutely no regrets. I think my son would have been traumatized if I had maintained that class.
Well, I do think it's a little unfair that I still have to pay her back, but you know what? There's a bad seed every so often. I'm still a very successful business owner, so it's all good.
Coming up,
Your Honor, just as much as I needed her to be at my graduation, I needed to be honest with her. And our futures just weren't aligning together anymore.
You know, sometimes your needs are not paramount.
closed captioning provided by This is Justice for the People with Judge Milian. Brooke Grant claims her boyfriend begged her to travel to his graduation, but then broke up with her when she arrived. Logan Escobar says his ex insisted on talking about their relationship, and he was just being honest.
Ms. Grant, you are suing Mr. Escobar for $432.80 that you paid for an airline ticket to visit him at his graduation, and then he dumps you.
Yes.
How long were you two dating?
We had been dating for 4 years.
Okay. Wow. All right. So you didn't see this coming?
No, not at all. I mean, he had invited me to his graduation, and of course I was going to say yes because I was so excited for him, and I was his girlfriend. I was so in love with him. I wanted to be there for him, and then the day after his graduation, he broke up with me.
You flew to the site of his graduation, correct?
Yes.
Were you still at that city celebrating his graduation when the breakup happened?
Yes.
How did it happen?
It was the day after his graduation. It was right before his graduation party.
Okay, so the festivities were still going on?
Yes.
Okay, and how did he break up with you?
Well, I had actually pulled him to the side before the graduation party started, and I wanted to talk about our future together because I currently live in New York City. I'm a student at NYU while he had stayed in Austin, Texas. We're both from Texas. Right before his graduation party, I pulled him to the side to talk about our future. And he just started saying, "Oh, I'm really glad that you brought this up. I love you so much. I'm so happy that you came here to be with me today. It's really important that you're here with me, but I don't see our futures moving forward together." And he just broke up with me.
Your timing stinks. That's the moment you chose to tell her, "Yeah, we're through."
Coming up.
Were you crying?
Oh my God, yes. I was a mess. I mean, I was with him for 4 years. And yes, we had been long distance, but I almost felt like that made us stronger. I felt like...
Yeah, it did make you strong.
With Judge Milian. We're back with a dispute between Brooke Grant and her ex-boyfriend Logan Escobar over who should pay for her travel costs.
You waited 4 years. You couldn't wait another week or two? Like, I'm just in shock at the timing.
Well, she seemed to want to have this serious conversation about our future. And I figured to seize the moment right there and then.
You can seize a moment a different way at a different time. Like, all you got to do is tell her, yeah, I don't know. We got to see. I got to see where I get a job. And then just do it in a couple. Well, why would you do it like right at the? I mean, did you feel relieved when you dumped her right then and there, or was it like a big to do?
Your Honor, just as much as I needed her to be at my graduation, I needed to be honest with her. And our futures just weren't aligning together anymore.
You know, sometimes your needs are not paramount. If you knew that you were going to break up with her, so it sounds like you actually knew you were going to break up, but it was a burden for you that you wanted to get off your chest.
You know, I was still deciding. If you knew that,
why did you have her come to your graduation?
Your Honor.
Because you wanted her there.
I needed her there.
You needed her there.
Yes.
I need everything. I need her to support me, and then I need her to go when I want her to go. Like, seriously? Dude.
Well,
it's so classless.
Your Honor, if you allow me,
I'll allow you to speak. I'm just hoping you say something that doesn't make me want to vomit. Go ahead.
I didn't see any other way that was
You didn't see any other way?
For me to do it.
Allow me to open your eyeballs to show you a few other ways. You break up with her beforehand because you know you're going to break up with her. She comes, so you don't break up with her while she's there. You break up with her a few weeks later. That's just 2 ways off the top of my head. I'm aghast that you would treat somebody who you supposedly loved for 4 years that way. Why would you break up with her then? What did you end up doing when he broke up with you?
I went right to his parents and I told them what happened, and they
Were you crying?
Oh my God, yes. I was a mess. I mean, I was with him for 4 years. And yes, we had been long distance, but I almost felt like that made us stronger. I felt like...
Yeah, it did make you strong.
Judge Milian's verdict when justice for the people returns. Promotional consideration. Judge Milian.
As horrible as I think he behaved, what is your legal theory on why he has to reimburse you for the money you spent to travel to see him?
Well, I truly believe that he lured me to Austin under false pretenses because he truly made me believe that I was going there to have a great, fun weekend with my boyfriend and his parents.
But so what happens? So the courts then get flooded by every couple who's disappointed? You know, I think he's a heel and good riddance for you, but I am just trying to understand what the legal theory is, because when you come to court, you say, you had a duty to me and you broke your duty. What duty did he have to you? He invited you to come to graduation, you went. So consider yourself lucky, and you have to move on. I am ruling in favor of the defendant.
All rise.
Judge Milian has ruled in favor of the defendant.
し、次は僕が。足りないもの、足りないもの。その調子、その調子。あ、しずかちゃん。うわのび太さん大丈夫？足りないもの？そうだ。今日は写生をしてたんだけど、もう少しで完成っていうところで絵の具の赤が足りなくなっちゃって。いい天気なのに残念だわ。じゃあ飛んでみたら？え？足りないもの。足りないもの。足りないもの。絵の具の赤が足りない。あ、光ってる。この辺が光ったはずだけど。映画の中の絵の具じゃないよね。
幸せの赤い絵の具を探して絶賛上映中。お、はい、幸せのお裾分けです。
ありがとう。すごい、これで続きが書けるわ。よかったね。よーし、僕も。足りないもの、足りないもの。何してるの？イメージトレーニングだよ。よし、いけるぞ。
探したぞ。ここでやってたのか。
ジャイアン。
これが噂のチャランポリンか。
タランポリンね。
なんでも足りないものが手に入るらしいな。俺にもやらせろ。足りないもの、足りないもの。思いつかねえな。欲しいものは全部みんなが貸してくれるからな。まあいっか。なんでもいいから今俺に足りないもの。いや、そういう道具じゃないよ。ちゃんと足りないものを言わなきゃ。おお、光った。こんなところに俺の足りないものがあるのか。うわあ、危ない。大丈夫ですか？
ありがとう、助かったよ。
二人じゃ大変ですよ。よかったら手伝います。
え？なんで僕たちにやらせるの？
つべこべ言うな。